What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode 8 here. We had a little lapse in between. Sorry about that. We have a couple of cool guests on today. We're going to talk about, well, first, we're going to let you know about a little bit of an event we have coming up, something fun you can do in the local area, as well as we're going to talk a little bit about nutrients. One of our partners here, Grow Green MI, is on with us today, which I'm going to introduce in a minute, and they brought their partner, Advanced Nutrients. So we're going to talk about how nutrients play in cultivation, what you can do whether you're in the commercial or home growing space, trying to find the right nutrients, and just learn a little bit more about them. So before we get started, I wanted to introduce you to Tony over here. Tony is the man at Grow Green MI. Tell us a little bit about your background in Grow Green MI.
Awesome. So Grow Green MI started in 2009, actually right down the street here in Brighton. You know, we're about like 15 stores down. Cute little 1,500 square foot building. We grew to 140,000 square feet. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
I mean, honestly, what's cool about it is what you have to grow a community to educate them on the power of the plant. So as people are going to plant it, looking for cannabis to purchase, we also are trying to help people grow cannabis and grow it with the proper nutrients. So Grow Green, again, is 140,000 square feet, family owned. We got about 40 people there. We ship all over Michigan. We ship all 48 states. More importantly, if you're in Michigan and you're placing an order over $500, we'll actually drive it right to your door for $50. I mean, how that's a
Sounds
solid.
like a good deal.
Oh, with the price of gas, that's pretty good.
Yeah, fuel prices.
And where are you at now? Where's
so
this
we're in Whitmore
awesome
Lake.
warehouse?
We're not too far from Planet over there, and we're off of Plaza Drive. But as we are always doing events, we do a couple of events throughout the year. We're doing a really cool event on October 15th. It's actually our fall expo, and we're also making it a car show. So there's going to be like 250 exotic cars. I mean, there's like monster trucks, there's Lambos, PJ's cars coming. Some of these, this one guy has a station wagon.
What kind of awesome car does PJ have?
I mean, well, he's a Mustang guy, so I'm not a Mustang guy, but he is. So
What do you like?
honestly, I like Justin's car. He's got a solid car.
I like your car. You got semi trucks. You got a fleet of semi trucks.
I like semis. I'm not into speed. I'm into like mass moving things. So
It just reminded me, was that
Utility.
game when you were a kid with the ice cream truck?
yeah,
You're all crashing into each other. Total metal. Twisted metal.
Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah,
man.
the clown, the one with the clown.
I don't know how I got
clown.
there, honestly, but
It's solid. There's
All right, so
there's a dyno track. Do you know what a dyno track is?
no, it's at this. Where at?
This is going to be October 15th.
Oh, it's at the event?
These people that actually are into performance that really want to see how
Dinosaur
powerful.
monster trucks.
A dyno track where they drive their car up. It measures how much
my calendar.
horsepower comes off the front of the truck
I'm taking my Forerunner.
and the rear, or not the truck, the cars. I should say it that way. Anyways, PJ knows all about that.
All right, so tell us more. Wait, so this is what time can we go to this event at?
I want to say it starts at 10 a.m.
10 to 2, right?
Yep, 10 till 2. Yep. There's going to be advanced nutrients. We're going to have all of our vendors out there, some killer deals in the store. Again, some super cool cars out there. Everybody's welcome. It's a free event, so why not come out and meet the community?
Deals
And
on what, too? What kind of deals? So
deals? We're always kicking deals on soil. We're kicking deals on advanced nutrients.
Okay.
We're always got some killer light specials. But, more importantly, we do these events to bring the community together. As COVID really rocked a lot of us forgot how to touch people and get out to meet people again. So we make sure we always do a couple of these events throughout the year. This car show is going to be off the hook. We did a small one earlier this year, but there's going to be food trucks out there. There's a VIP area. Totally a good jazz. There's going to be a DJ,
awesome.
and I think Justin might even play the drums.
Justin's DJing, I heard.
Yes, DJ JP. Has it been heard?
So cars, coffee, and cannabis is what it's called,
Yeah.
right? It's free.
It's free.
And we're going to do something kind of cool. So remember, October 15th, 10 to 2, cars, coffee, and cannabis.
Yeah.
It's free. Location?
That's going to be at 10505 Plaza Drive in Whitmore Lake.
At the
You're going to
place,
get
okay.
off at exit 54. You're going to head west a little bit. First Street on the right, Plaza Drive, right by Barnstormers. You're going to park up there. Please, unless you have some exotic car that you want everybody to see. We got a parking lot that
wish.
holds probably about 1,500 cars. We usually expect somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 people at these events.
Oh, whoa. That's a lot of people. I had no idea.
Yeah, so there'll be shuttle people. There'll be shuttle buses
people.
on driving you down the street. A lot of people just walk, but it is going to be October 15th, so it's 55 degrees on average. PJ says so. If you want to go for a cool
take it.
stroll, it's you could smoke one while you're going down there.
Light jacket. Okay.
Get your steps in for the day.
Sure.
And if, there'll be some cool people out there. It'll be a good time.
We're going to do something cool for it, I think, too.
You guys are coming, right? You got a booth, right?
We're going to be there, but we just kind of like 12 seconds ago, a couple minutes ago, figured out a little random thing that we're going to do. So on or before October 15th?
Yeah, before.
Before October 15th, come into Planted, one of the Planted locations, Flint or Whitmore Lake. Grab yourself a pre-roll, save the receipt, bring it into Grow Green. First person that brings that in is going to get in
Advanced Nutrients starter pack.
A bunch of nutrients for free that you can grow.
$239.
Wonderful
Justin's
cannabis
giving it
with.
away. I mean, that's crazy, Justin. You're so generous.
Hey, gotta look out for the home growers.
Yeah, the first person to show up will get that
First person.
starter
The
pack.
first 10 get a free gift. The gift is a surprise.
Yeah.
We just decided a few minutes ago. So
I
we
mean,
didn't have
I
a
think-
gift in mind, but it'll be a good gift.
Coffee cups, T-shirts. There's some cool stuff.
One single Bic pen. Yeah.
No.
One pen.
No. Honestly, when you go inside Grow Green, one of my favorite things that we did is we have this giant mural on the wall. It's Smurfs with little houses. One of the Smurf houses has a Wu-Tang flag on it.
Oh my gosh.
It's so cool. And it has the drop of Metro Detroit in the background. So if you ever want to just look at something cool while you might have smoked something amazing, just check out that mural. It's worth just standing in the store looking
I'm
at
going
it.
to put a reminder in my phone. Check out that sweet mural.
How long did it take to do the mural? Did it take a long time?
Honestly, me and that guy, it was probably about 2 weeks. A lot of nights. A lot of cannabis was smoked.
You did it?
Well, I mean, there has to be a mind associated. I wasn't actually spray painting it, but
okay.
I had to get him to spray paint.
Yeah.
Visionary?
He had like a
visionary.
The vision, yeah. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Where else do you see?" I'm like, "We actually have a pipe going through the wall." And there's a Smurf that's actually smoking the pipe.
Stop it.
So it's like a giant joint. And then there's like a hole in the wall. And the guy actually made a tree going all the way up. And we put a garden gnome like 40 feet up in the air. And the dude's just sitting on a ledge that's embanked in the tree. It's so cool.
You're going to have like 5,000 visitors now to
Yeah.
this thing.
I
I
This
wanna
is why
see that
people who smoke weed are the best.
bong smoking Smurf.
You ever seen a sober person do that cool
If,
mural?
if you are tripping acid, it could be a bad trip.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be looking at the Smurfs being like, I really want to meet
Smoking a
you.
bong?
Hey, you're like talking to them.
Jeez.
Oh
Well-
my God, that's awesome.
So, and we got Justin over here too. He's been hanging out with us already, but I haven't formally introduced him. Justin's the man over at Advanced Nutrients. Why don't you tell us about your background in Advanced Nutrients, a little bit about what you do?
What do I do? Well, I've been in the cannabis industry for over a decade, and I've been with Advanced Nutrients for over 10 plus years now. So worked my
I
way
remember
up.
when Justin actually became our first rep. I've watched him grow up in the industry.
That's awesome.
He's like
I'm like a plant. I was in my vegetative
Wow,
stage.
you're like my kid,
You're
actually.
in veg.
He was a clone.
Jeez,
in
I mean,
veg.
I feel like I'm that old now. I mean,
Now I'm in week 5 of flower. Anyway, so
you're getting ready to
with
butt it out, right?
Yeah. Don't harvest me yet. So, with Advanced Nutrients over 10 years. Started off as a sales guy. Actually, my title was business buddy.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. Then went to a national sales manager, and then graduated to director of national sales for the company.
Congratulations.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah.
He's a very solid person in the industry.
Yeah, I try really hard.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're one of my favorite reps.
I appreciate it.
I don't know if
very much.
my favorite rep.
Oh, don't put me on a pedestal.
You guys do a lot of good marketing too, man. I gotta say, I actually wore this shirt specifically for this episode because Advanced Nutrients sponsored Cannabis, which is in Spain, and it's a cannabis event, I guess you can call it. And I showed up down there, and I'm walking down the street. It's like a cool little street, right? And I walk up to this door, and can't even see through it, no windows, nothing. Knock, knock, knock. Walk in. And I walk in, I see the shirt. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I buy it. It was this Cannabis collective. That's how they have them, right? Really cool industry in Spain. Honestly, a lot of great people just wanting to bring cannabis to the mainstream. Shout out to everybody in Spain building that industry. You guys are awesome. I had a fun time down there, and I walked into this room, and it was just Advanced Nutrients everywhere, and they had their reps there. They were having fun, hanging out with everybody, talking about it. It was cool. I had to make a note to give you props about that. Specifically wore that for you. So these guys get involved in like all the emerging markets, existing markets, right? They're trying to get spread out and pretty much offer something to everyone, right? Like what is your involvement locally and international? Tell them about the company and how you go to market.
Well, Advanced Nutrients started in 1999 by Big Mike Stramatis, and we have over 2 decades worth of cannabis research. So what's nice about Advanced is we're a cannabis-specific nutrient company. the only one in the industry. Now, a lot of other companies that came through and done testing on cannabis, but we have a lot of universities, even dating back to, Canada when they first got their medical license. We have research from then, Bulgaria, but several different university white papers, FSC data reports on, who we are, what we do for the cannabis plant. So, advanced nutrients has a lot of facets. I tell everyone, and everyone thinks it's just fertilizer and you put your name on it. It's not. That's not who we are. When you open up the door to advanced nutrients, there's a lot of levers to the company. Everything from our genetics, which we haven't officially announced yet, but we're in the genetic game, hemp market, pre-rolls, everything you name it. Big Mike's he's a pioneer in the industry. He's been around
Big
a long
Mike, that's what I was talking about earlier. The emails.
Yes.
Yeah,
Big Mike.
back. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Problem
When you
solved.
said
Got
the
it.
last name, I was like, that's Big Mike.
Yeah, Big Mike. I got the emails. They do some cool marketing content that's like pretty relevant to like if you want to learn about how nutrients work and affect everything. They have some cool marketing. So, what type of customers do you serve then?
We serve everything from the guy who grows one plant to the guy who grows infinity amount of plants. So we touch all market segments, all revenues, all streams of the marketplace. So, we've got something for everyone from the starter pack for the home grower market. A lot of people keep overlooking that. We talked about this
it's
before.
our top seller, Justin. It's my favorite product.
So what does it do? What does a starter pack do then?
That's
what
your
does it get you going with?
That's your your little thing just to get open in the industry. There's a lot of people that whether you go to a dispo and purchase your cannabis there, or you want to try to grow yourself, people are tent growers and you're trying to figure out what nutrient to go with. Whether you're shopping this starter pack, it has a microscope in it, sticker, all your base nutrients. It has a couple simple additives.
It has a what? A
microscope. So,
Check your trichome.
check your trichome.
Oh,
or bugs.
well, I thought it was
Watch for the bugs.
Don't put that juju out there. No.
See, I just checked the trichomes with my microphone.
Well, if you're that lucky,
My
I would do it.
Yeah.
But
These are given away at not given away, but at the trade shows sometimes you have these starter packs people can buy too, right?
yeah,
I've seen the. Am I right?
Yeah, trade shows. We'll give them away, as samples.
small,
And
okay.
If it makes sense for the person, someone who's growing 100 plants, it's not going to make sense. But that 6 to 8 plant mark, it gets you from point A to point Z. Get your quality and quantity without overdoing it. When you're getting into the home, you don't want to overwhelm somebody who's just getting into it, right?
Especially when they're changing, right? Because we're going to talk about that in a second. I think kind of like what type of nutrients are available.
Totally, yeah.
Is
in the starter pack, a lot of the additives are what welcomes you to the advanced family. But one of the most secret products that Justin and a lot of the advanced people don't talk about is their organics. A lot of people that run organics really love the iguana juice and their whole organics lineup. So,
where does iguana juice come from?
Iguanas. They
Well,
juice them.
we juice some iguanas.
We juice them.
Madagascar, of course. Yeah,
No animals were in the making
and
of
actually
this
the iguanas are CDFA certified too.
We're seriously kidding. Seriously kidding. Yeah.
We got a CDFA certification on these iguanas we're talking about.
just put them in the grinder, the meat grinder.
Right.
Just like,
Yeah, which is nice. Is organic seems to be a big thing, right? Organic. Everyone wants to grow their own. So we talk a lot about commercial. Everyone talks about the commercial side of the business, but again, the homegrown market's just as big. And we could talk about commercial later, but when it comes down to growing your own, right? It seems to be a new thing. COVID spiked. I want to grow my own tomatoes, whatever it may be, in cannabis, right? Cannabis is now becoming an acceptable part of the community.
Thank God.
So in an emerging market, there's tons of emerging markets right now from New York to Virginia and everything else. So Big Mike made products suitable for a person who's growing one plant or, a couple million. So,
So what is like when you're talking about nutrients, then what is, I guess, are there different categories? So you mentioned organic, right? So for people that don't know about nutrients, just give us like a 30,000 foot level of like what the different types are. Or like, I guess, forms
synthetic
of,
versus
or,
organics type stuff.
I don't know. I don't.
synthetic versus
Okay.
organic.
water soluble, Justin.
Water soluble powders,
Launch those, right?
Organic is what I like about organic is it really brings out the natural flavor of the plant, right?
Okay.
So and then there's a bad stigmatization on what synthetic is. So at Advanced Nutrients, we are a pharmaceutical grade blended nutrient company, right? So we know that the inputs that we put into the raw materials and the inputs that we put into our nutrients aren't going to cause any harm to someone who's smoking because we're cannabis specific.
That's what I was going to ask. You said pharma grade. What is that?
Pharmaceutical
Explain a
grade
little
blended.
bit
So it's
more.
refined to a very minute aspect to where we're not putting heavy metal toxicity into plants. For instance, phosphorus is a heavy metal contaminant carrier. You put, let's go back to the basics of cannabis is an accumulative plant. Anything you feed
This is
it,
interesting. I like this. All right.
just like
all
a
right.
human body. Anything,
Yeah,
you know, it can embed in the DNA cellular
Might need a
structure.
notepad. Do you have a notepad?
Right? I seriously want to hear this. Yeah.
I got notes. I'm gonna take some notes here.
That's a friend. So, anything you feed the plant will embed in the DNA cellular structure of the plant. And then at the end of the day, it comes out in the smoke like you're consuming. This is a consumable product. You're combusting something with a lighter. So what makes us different in the marketplace, and there's 1,000 different ways to skin the cat. There's a ton of good companies, but what sets us apart is that we know you're consuming it. We're the only ones that test on cannabis, and we have for over 2 decades now. So we want to make sure that you're getting the correct medicine that's not going to be harmful. You know, a lot of heavy metals. This isn't just ag salts. You're throwing it in there, and then all of a sudden and that's the big stigma in the marketplace.
It's not Scott's Miracle Grow or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, people are always so worried about, is this flushed properly? Like when they're growing at home, like did I get all this bad stuff out of my plant? You know,
But to flushing, to that, good point, but you can't flush out heavy metals that are embedded into the DNA cellular structure.
Exactly.
So free floating ions and stuff that are in the vascular system, totally, it'll flush right out. But you know what you're feeding your plants, just like us. Are we going to eat McDonald's and Burger King every day to be, big and luscious and be healthy?
I wish.
Big and luscious. Big and luscious, yes. I don't know about healthy.
Like a big bud, big luscious. We gotta be healthy. Be
Yeah.
health conscious. We're gonna have cholesterol and stuff, right?
And maybe I want to make sure I ask this right, whether it's not organic or not, whatever, but how do different types of nutrients affect plant growth? And I guess to dig in a little bit more, if somebody was trying to achieve a certain thing, would they choose a certain nutrient for that, or?
Yeah, totally. And nutrients play a factor.
Maybe we should
got to
just
back
walk them
up.
through like the basics,
Yeah,
I mean, like
let's
I
do
think
it.
at the beginning, like as whatever brand, I mean, we're talking about Advanced today, and Grow Green carries a lot of brands. Advanced is the top at Grow Green, but if you just purchase a base nutrient, right, which could just be a 3-part or a 2-part, that you're going to get your grow, micro, and bloom.
Yeah, you get your micro, macros, and secondary nutrients in there. It's all the meat and potatoes you need for your plant, from nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, to be healthy, to get to point A to point Z.
And then adding on to that, I mean, you could just go with, some simple vitamins. You can go with some beneficials. You can go with those new voodoo juice
tablets.
The tablets,
Oh,
right?
those are awesome, yeah.
I mean, I think we sell them the singles now, $8, but you can get a 10-pack. But
tablet?
you gotta like it looks like a cert. They gotta put like a warning on it that do not eat this. It looks like a cert. Like, they do look tasty, so don't eat that if you're not for human consumption.
You'll grow a cannabis bud out of your ear.
It'll be a root growing out of your nose or something.
Honestly, I think one tablet does like 100 gallons. I mean, they're giving you such a value. I mean,
1 gram treats 100 gallons.
That wouldn't be the worst side effect, though, if
right.
you had a
But
cannabis
most
bud.
hobby guys are
just
like,
once, though.
they're like
just
5
ate it. Maybe my
gallons.
beard will
Yeah.
come in a little bit less patchy, right?
Yeah, Justin, I mean, that would do great things for us.
I think that's the point, is that, like when I started my home grow probably like 6 or 7 years ago, I was like, this is going to be easy, right? I'm like, I'm just going to like throw plant in the ground outside and just like watch it grow. And it just like didn't do that. And I was like, what? I was putting Miracle Grow on it. Okay. I was like, let me not Google any of this. I'm just going to try to get this as big as possible. Yeah. It was horrible. Yep. So, and I've been lived in Whitmore Lake for like 7 years. So finally I had a friend that was like, go up to like Grow Green and like check out like what they have there. I'm like, all right. I walked in. I was definitely overwhelmed at first to be like, what are all these things that I'm supposed to be feeding my plants?
I did the same thing.
So I went with like
I loved it.
I chose like a line, right? Just like, I think I went with Fox Farms at the time or something. And I chose a line and I was like, all right, this has got the starter kit of everything. And I was going home and I'm like feeding the plants these things, and they're turning like different colors and doing things. And I'm like taking pictures, sending them to my friends. They're like, has too much nitrogen. Like, has too much this. I'm like, what do I have to do to get this thing to like just grow? It's like
Never
you're
easy.
basically playing God with this
We should
plant.
have got you a starter kit because we got the pH perfect technology in there. So
See, the things that I
balances it
didn't
for
even
you.
know, but
I
it was
know.
like, I started to learn over time after like just getting it to where I wanted it. It's like, I feel like I'm playing God with this. I'm playing God with the lights, with when I'm feeding it, with how much I'm watering it. Like I get to determine what happens to this entire plant. So for some people that's overwhelming. And I was like, when I started, I was like, I'm going to go with 48 plants in my basement, like I was not like,
Ooh,
I'm
that's
going to
a lot
start.
of plants.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to
Round
start 1 or 2 in a tent. Like I was like, let me outfit my whole basement for this. So it was something that was definitely overwhelming, but super cool to have like a shop right in town that I could like stop in, and everyone there was super helpful, and learned about a ton of stuff. I'm like, oh, I got to trellis these things and plant bend these things.
Always got to get a few questions in.
Yeah.
And really, like as we're doing those events, like that, those are, besides coming in just talking to the Grow Green staff or having like a vendor day where Justin and other reps are there, like going to this October 15th event with this car show. All of these events, we call them the celebrities. Justin's a celebrity in a lot of people's minds. So if you want some one-on-one time, to learn those secret tricks from Justin or the other reps. I mean, that's how you, Victoria, that's how you actually.
The event's free too, by the way.
Escalated
Did we
your
even
growth.
mention it?
Yeah, I mean, and now I grow like with amended
Free.
soil,
Like we're giving stuff away
don't
too.
gotta
I mean,
pay
there's
for it.
$10,000 in prizes we're giving away.
You just gotta like stick your neck out there and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, help me out. And so it's cool to like
Check
learn
the
about
ego at the door.
Yeah, it's cool to learn about like advanced nutrients too, because it's something like I started to learn to grow, and I was growing better and better and stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna go with amended soil, like I'm gonna go fully organic, and then sometimes even that's like a struggle to get your plants exactly where you want. So you want to be able to like supplement with with the product, and you're like, who can I trust to supplement this product that I'm gonna be smoking or giving to my friends or giving to my patients? Like you have to make sure that you're putting the right stuff in your plants. So
Yeah,
and you guys have been around forever too, so I guess that's probably a lot.
Oh yeah,
It's going to help.
Yeah,
you guys have been through. You've had products out here forever. You probably have R&D, I have to imagine. Which actually, if you want to answer it now, I was going to be curious if you have anything super cool to talk about. You mentioned genetics earlier. What do you have coming that's going to like change your business or change cannabis or something you really think is going to have a good effect on the industry?
Well, there's a lot of stuff, and going back to kind of what you said earlier, you got to have your environment and genetics, and then nutrients can play a factor after that, right? And trying to depend on what you want to do with the crop, you have to steer it in a certain direction. Crop steering seems to be the big word in the industry right now, which we've been doing for years. But nutrients can definitely play a factor at that point in order to get it from seed to senescence and take it to that next level. So some of the research that we do, especially when we're launching a new product to market, and this kind of segues into what we have going on, but we just launched our water soluble powders and our voodoo juice tablets. But what's unique about what we do, being cannabis specific and having all this research and data to it, we have over 20 PhDs. Which helps out quite a bit too.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be a
So
scientist.
you're constantly testing. So what do you? So how do you do? Are you working with partners? You just
we got tons of different partners, tons of different universities, as well as our own testing facilities.
That's
as
got to
well.
be huge. Universities.
Universities is a big one, because you get a lot of white papers and data reports off it. And at the end of the day, these people, it's cool to watch college kids, by the way. I sit on the board of directors for advisors for Lake Superior State University. So
I was
watch
going
these
to ask,
kids
Michigan
light
then?
up.
You're working with Michigan ones? Awesome. You know what? I will say, I'll give a shout out to them too. You know what? Honestly, I've talked to a handful of people over there at that program just for various different reasons throughout my cannabis career, and every single one of them has been really cool. So we did an episode with Pete about cannabis and how like they have formal cannabis education now, and we actually gave him a shout out in there, so that's cool to hear you're involved. So yeah, Lake Superior State, they do like a cannabis program. Check it out online. That was not planned, but I gotta give them a shout out. So
they're awesome. But real quick to touch on that is some of the rigorous testing. We put new products into marketplace, we put them through the ringer. We put them into different temperature of water, different temperatures in the room, different light intensity, what dosing we're giving them, a light dose, how that reacts to a heavy dose, where the sweet spot is. That's how we put them through the ringer. We put them through the mud. We want to see them, at both sides of the spectrum and how they react and how they work. And that helps us tweak in our formula to put the best product out in the marketplace, because, hey, listen, no one's perfect. And
if you have a question, you just look at the side of the bottle and there's an 800 number. What is the 800 number for?
We got a growth support. So again, that would have been awesome if you were at the advanced. But at Grow Green, you guys got a lot of knowledgeable staff in there. So sometimes it's nice to walk in face to face and show them pictures and stuff, and get the personal touch if you're around the corner. But say you live 6 hours away and you want to call Advanced Nutrients, you can get our tech support. Our tech support guys are top notch. They've been with the companies for decades. These guys,
That's awesome.
And they're not just sales guys. They're actually, honestly, I had a couple people call that 800 number. And they're like, do I have to do Big Bud and Overdrive? And the sales guy's like, just buy Big Bud. It's totally going to make it work for what you're looking for. You don't need all the products. Because a lot of people hear Advanced and they say 13 bottles. It's crazy. But when you get that starter pack, you can get a couple bottles and grow up if you want to get that quality dialed in, or you can just stay with what's working for you.
Oh, so there's like a build add-on type of how you buy. Okay.
it's like an a la carte menu, right?
Yeah. So I know this is totally different, but this may be like the equivalent of like when I grew for a little bit, when you talk about like supplementing with CO2 and everything, right? That's not necessarily a first step that everybody takes, right? So maybe in your case, when you start off, there is a more base nutrient mix that you can start off with. And as you start to get into more advanced growing methods, you have additional tools to stack onto that,
building
right?
blocks, correct.
Got it.
I always ask,
I'm seriously learning this for the first time on the
there's
nutrient
a couple things
side.
to ask.
So
What's your growing knowledge?
I simplified mine.
What's your budget?
Yep.
Then we can go from there. Then we'll customize it. Is it the starter pack, or hey, listen, maybe that's not the the cost analysis you're looking for. Let's break it down and figure out a different game plan. Listen, there's something for everybody, and that's what's nice.
I used a random one. I don't even remember it. It was like this, like they're like, buy this 2 bottles and do this, and some of my friends that actually knew what they were doing after, they're like, don't use that again. I'm like, okay. I was just fucking, I was having fun. Like I wasn't trying to sell it. I was trying to grow like a plant for myself and have fun with it. So.
What's cool about it being like a la carte is that even if you're not running like advanced, like the entire line or something, that there's probably something that you could benefit from, like adding it to your lineup of whatever you're doing.
Plug and play products.
Yeah.
A lot of people will do that. You know, our goal is to have an advanced nutrients bottle in every grow, right? It could be pH up and down. It could be Bud Factor X. It could be Bud Igniter, something
Could
like
be
that.
the Voodoo Juice tabs.
Voodoo Juice tablets are huge.
The Voodoo Juice.
Voodoo Juice.
You think like you're saying
Tarantula.
booty juice tabs, but Voodoo Juice.
That's what you need to add.
It's it's got Voodoo Juice, Piranha Tarantula, and a sugar in there, all combined into one little tablet. That's the most cost effective.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think
Friendly.
it's like $5.
Yeah, bacteria mycorrhizae in the marketplace. So it's nice, especially from commercial down to home growers. You literally just drop it in there. It's like an Alka-Seltzer tab. Probably takes 30 to 45 seconds.
Don't eat it.
Don't eat it unless you want a nicer beard. I probably should eat some.
I think I ate 2.
You too.
I feel like I just want to like come in and buy a bunch of these products and grow again. Honestly, that's what, when I stopped, that was probably the one thing I missed. I don't know why life just got in the way. It's the one thing I missed because you're always like kind of honing in your craft. So what if people are growing at home, right? Whether you're commercial, growing at home, whatever. Yeah. What are a few things you would tell people when choosing a nutrient company or type, or a few tips for listeners?
I mean, Justin, like number one, do it because you love it. Mm-hmm. Don't do it just because you're trying to make money. Yeah. Right? Like if you want to make money, then maybe go get a class license and go set up a dispo and go through all the rigmarole, right? Not that the black market or whatever the hobby market isn't there, but if you don't love the plant that you're trying to grow, you're going to start thinking that this is $1 and you're going to take out key advanced nutrients products and maybe not even have a meter to test how much advanced you put in there or something else you put in there. Because when you start messing with that formula, like Victoria said when she was learning, like she loved the plant. Like you could just see that in her eyes when she was telling that story. And she was like, I want to do better. I want to do better. So, I would just honestly say, make sure you know that.
You have the time and the heart to commit to it.
It is so much more work than I think a lot of people realize. Like to produce like something that's quality, that like you really are proud of, that you really want to smoke. Because at first I was like, all right, I'm just throw this plant in the ground. I smoke so much weed. I need to like supply my own. Like this is getting expensive. So I started to grow. I'm like, all right.
So much weed.
And then you would just find me like in my basement, like just picking leaves off my plants.
just smelling everything.
Yeah, everything. Well, yeah, and that's
Grant
my favorite
would yell
thing.
at us. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
It's just my favorite thing, honestly. Like I started growing just to supply my own shit, and then it was just like it got more and more intense. Like how can this become better and better? So
and it's funny because like as the industry's changing with COVID and everything that's happened in the industry, as prices are being compacted and stuff like that, whether it's at the dispensary or people can't get rid of their stuff right now, it's like the people that are staying in this, it's so funny, the ones that are walking to Grow Green day after day, and we are open to the public. A lot of people don't think we are. We do ship the whole United States and in Michigan within the next 24 hours. But as people are coming in the store, these are the people that started this. A lot of people, like Victoria saying,
family owned, right?
Family owned, but they're the growers that are coming in, and they're the ones that are actually might have set up Uncle Harry and Uncle Bob and Aunt Sue, and then set those grows up. And maybe those people went to Amazon or whatever place to get a real job again because they gave up. But there's just a lot of just diehards that are still sticking through these hard times.
That's awesome, and I think there is going to be. I
don't think so.
I agree because listen, I mean, this is a natural thing that I think we're going to see in cannabis, right? When we move towards the recreational market, I've had a conversation with this about a few people. I don't think we should ever let go of the medical market or not address the medical market's needs, because I truly think that there is a slight difference, right? Like some are using it for physiological things, some are using it for mental things. So at the end of the day, I think there really is a true definition of a caregiver still for a lot of people that it can benefit. It's just like anything, it's shifting its purpose, and that's okay. It's evolving. So I agree. I think there is still going to always maintain that craft. And I think it's important that we do, because some people have such specific needs, and this is it. You know what? Some people have such specific needs. It's not economically viable at a commercial level, maybe for a business to do it, but a caregiver that's taking care of you can do it because they don't have all that overhead, and that's okay.
And they care for the plant. caregiver, right?
I 100%.
And there's a
respect
lot
that.
of stuff here too within the marketplace on a commercial sale. And the people that are trying to just get in here for pure profits, they're putting out, lack of better terms, cardboard cannabis, right?
Definitely.
So you need something that's gonna, and if you got 20 different commercial facilities that are just in here for profits and they're all growing the same stuff, what's the point, right?
Would cardboard cannabis be like the stuff that my mom found in the rafters that I saw literally like a couple weeks ago, I believe? It was like flat and brown. And it was with like a fifth of 151 too.
Circa 2005, maybe.
Shot needed.
I think it's just like hard to like. No one can ever forget like why we even have the opportunities and abilities to like operate in a licensed market within the state is because of our caregivers. Because of that's something that there
Absolutely.
was such a big need to provide cannabis on a medicinal level to people, and it's like I hate kind of how it's been evolving and transforming in the terms of everyone's forgetting the best parts about the plant. It's just like high THC, pump out high THC. Oh, I want my nug to hit the wall and sound like a rock, Like that's not how plants like grow. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, too many growth hormones in these plants. So it's one of those things where people are like, I want those big hard nugs and I want it at 32% THC, and I'm like, you're missing all the terpenes, the flavonoids. Like your high sucks. Yeah, like you're missing so much.
Yeah, and people have the misconception. They just see THC. It's like, it depends on what your outcome wants to be. What do you want? How do you want it to affect you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did an expo back in 2018, and we had a speaker up on the stage, and she was actually part of a women's group that was actually taking cannabis to hospice patients, trying to help them have a better way out, so to speak.
That's amazing.
And as there is dispensaries and there is the medical market and stuff like that, what we need as a community of everybody that consumes cannabis is to educate all of these people on what the power of the plant can do to them, right? Because as we need to grow the whole community, if these people can see the medical benefits, right, or the high or whatever they're chasing, right, there's a lot more use for cannabis and it'll be way more accepted. I mean, we've all been through some crazy stories throughout the saga of getting to where we are today. And I mean, we should
do an episode one time on that. Crazy stories, number 9.
Yeah.
We're not trying to get everyone to smoke.
Raids. Grow green. I remember that.
We're not trying to even just get everyone to smoke weed to get high, right? Like we're trying to, like, especially with me at Planet and my staff, like I'm like, we're trying to educate people just so that they can like lessen that stigma. Like if you don't want to smoke weed, that's fine. But like, let me just educate you first. Like, so that you're not walking around with this like very ignorant perception of like, what is cannabis? And like, in every kind of scenario, you'll always have, the pothead that makes everyone look bad or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, there's so much benefit to this plant. So I tell people, I'm like, oh, you don't want to get high? Like CBD. Like, let's talk about it. Like, let's talk about all these
plant. I was just
the
going
hemp
there.
plant. Yeah, let's talk about all the other cannabinoids that don't have a psychoactivity to it.
Anything,
Like, and that's the difference of my shop. Or people walk in, right, and my staff's like, do you know what terpenes are? And people are like, either they're like, no, and I have no desire to learn, or they're like, tell me more. And then you go down this rabbit hole of like, oh, well, let me just tell you about every other, what are terpenes? Oh, they're the essential oil of the plant. And then they're curious. They're like, what else is there? So, and it's hard for me to play in a market where I'm like, I'm a caregiver. My parents are caregivers. So I grew up like growing cannabis. And now I'm in this, like, I have a love for both sides. So sometimes, people are like, tell me about these edibles. And I'm like, trying to reel back going, they're all just distillate edibles, like there's like nothing really cool about them. And then then reeling it in to be like, okay, the edibles are pretty cool, but
they're getting a long
they're coming a long ways from that. But, being able to have that full spectrum and that all those cannabinoids like intact in that plant or in that product is super important to me. Like when I'm taking in product, and I'll say when I was younger and I started smoking weed, I was just doing it to get high, and people would be like, have you tried CBD? I'm like, yeah, screw that stuff. Like it doesn't get me high, Yeah. And now I'm like, oh, I like got a splinter. I'm like, I need CBD. Like anything I do is like, there's some form of the cannabis plant or the hemp plant that can like help me.
What if you want to find out about cannabis? Wait, we have a cannabis coach.
Yeah, we have a cannabis coach in our shop. So that's something that's super important to us, like, educating people and realizing and letting everyone know that like your cannabis journey is very individualized, whether you're growing cannabis or you're using cannabis. It's like a personal journey and you have to be patient. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't even know the benefits of RSO and how it's actually helped people with cancer.
We did a whole podcast.
Episode on RSO. Yeah, no. I'm so bad.
We did a whole podcast.
I made it to episode 8. I did make
I'm like,
it.
you didn't watch every episode 1 through 7 before you
Yeah.
came here?
There's just so much data in the world.
We did
I'm so happy
a
for
whole like podcast on RSO with one of our vendors who makes RSO and stuff. So it's one of those things that, you know, even I
Cannalicious and Detroit Edibles, you got to check them out. They're awesome. They make some good RSO.
Yeah, you can be so naive coming into the market, not knowing like what is or isn't for you, and then not only that, like I've been a consumer going into a dispensary and hearing like what someone's offered me, and I'm like, no, that's not it. Like, and I, you know, I'm never trying to like bash any other competitors or anything, but for me, like as a general manager running my shop, like the education is the number one most important piece, you know, and I'm like, you know, whatever you're doing, and we have people that come into our shop that grow at home, right? Like we're just their supplement in between their grows or their harvest or whatever.
Or a different product type. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to make gummies. They don't have the
held
time
your
for
hand
it.
there. I'm
You
like,
just hold my hand. No, it's like they don't want to.
Trying to get the CBD off.
Yes,
With no rings,
yeah.
no.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah.
I have one on my middle finger.
Love her to death.
But no, it's just one of those things that there's always a place to educate someone on cannabis, whether it's growing it or consuming it or whatever. I just love to be able to provide that space within our shop. And it's awesome to find that within Grow Green too, you know, to be able to go in there and be educated a little bit on stuff. Cause I was too embarrassed the first time to like, be like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just walked in and pretended. They're like, you good? I'm like, yeah.
You appreciate the selection. I brought a bunch of the little cool things when I went in there that one time. You had the front counter and there was just, you picked the exact right things that somebody waiting to get their order fulfilled want to buy. I knew you were playing. I was like, damn it, he got me. I literally bought like 8 things. They were just unique little gadgets.
I forgot to mention this earlier for that event on the 15th. It is family friendly. So please bring your kids and come out and have a good time because it'll be a bounce house. It'll be cool things for the kids to do because like as we have these stigmas that we grew up with and been in this industry, right? People actually are pushing their kids around smoking weed. Like, yeah, it's not against the law. You know?
love that.
I mean, like
yeah.
you can actually come together as a community, like what you guys offer at your facility.
And you don't want, you hear the stories in the news of these, and listen, I don't want to say this is like bad apples, right? It's like, mom left 2 million milligram edible on counter for 1 foot tall baby and reaching length. Like, okay, right? I mean, at the end of the day, there's a different responsibility you have to have when you have children and you're consuming cannabis. But if you do
anything.
or alcohol,
right?
Your prescription
sharp
meds,
knives, dangerous fangs, you know, yeah, like anything. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, it's I agree and I respect that. That's awesome that it is kid friendly. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, with that being said, I think we covered everything unless anybody has any final comments. Just a reminder, again, October 15th, 10 to 2, Cars, Coffee, and Cannabis. It is free. Go to Planted before October 15th. Buy a pre-roll, bring your receipt. The first person that goes into Grow Green after will get a free starter kit to get yourself growing. And then the first 10 people will get a free gift. We haven't decided with that gift yet, but
yeah, we'll
make it a cool gift.
Truck ride with Tony. We want to ride your semi trucks around.
Hey, we could be doing things. That dyno track's going to be
I'm
hopping.
just kidding. We're
maybe
using
some
PJ's car.
burnouts.
They get to test drive
there's
PJ's
cars
Mustang.
that I
what
have
I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's crazy
Should I
cars.
embarrass myself and bring my 4Runner?
So come find us.
Yeah.
Literally come find all 4 of us. Say what's up. Yeah. Thank you for listening. As always, if you have anything that you want to ask us, request a topic, somebody you want to meet, whatever, throw it in the chat. Hope you share us, listen to us. Check out both the websites if you want to learn more information. Thank you to our sponsors, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Peace.
Thanks for having me.